Hi, everyone. I'm John Gibson, Director of Summer Session here at Purdue University, and I want to welcome you to tonight's webinar. It's your first step as a Boilermaker here at Purdue University. Very quickly, I'll go over the agenda for the evening with you all. Just after me, we're going to have President Mitch Daniels talk with you for a minute. We also have Asada Gilmore with us tonight. Asada is the President of Purdue Student Government. Then I will jump back in, give you an overview of Summer Start and Early Start. Dr. Jenna Rickus, the Interim Vice Provost for Teaching and Learning, will talk with you about the Protect Purdue Pledge. Kathy Scott from our Protect Purdue Health Center will give you an update on some plans for tomorrow and throughout the program. Many questions last week for Kathy on the webinars, so if you have more, feel free to throw them our way. Carl Krieger then will talk about the Steps to Leaps initiative here at Purdue University. Elizabeth Hartley will talk with you about move-in. We know just about 600 of you are coming to campus tomorrow and Friday, so Elizabeth will provide some very important updates. Brian Coker will talk with you a little bit about conduct in university residences. Kara Powell will then talk with you about dining options for this year. We'll have a question and answer session, and then we'll have breakout rooms so that all of you students can meet your peer mentor before you arrive on campus. So this time, I'm going to turn it over to President Mitch Daniels.
Thank you, John. Hello, everybody. I started to say, great to see you all here, but I can't see you. So I'm just going to have to content myself for now in welcoming you to Purdue in this remote fashion. I mainly want to speak to the students, but first, a quick word to the parents. First of all, congratulations on raising young people who are qualified and who are ready for a Purdue experience. And thank you for entrusting them to us for what we hope will be some very important and productive years. We're going to do our very, very best to keep them safe and to bring them the same sort of high quality, rigorous education that stretches them and helps them develop their full potential so they can leave here for great, high character, productive lives as Boilermakers have for a century and a half. And now to the students. We are so excited to have you here, both groups. Those of you in Early Start have already sent a signal of your likely success as Boilermakers. You have taken the initiative to start ahead, to get a jump on your Purdue experience. That tells us a lot about the kind of purpose and discipline that you will bring to the next few years. And we'll be there to help you every step of the way, but by signing up for Early Start, as I say, you've already shown us a lot of the qualities we're looking for in Purdue students. And a special word to the Summer Start group. This is a program of very special importance to me and to some of us who started it just a few years ago to expand access further here at Purdue. You know, a favorite athlete of many of ours, and I'm guessing many of you, whether you're from Indiana or not, Peyton Manning, on his first day as a professional football player, was asked after he signed this big contract, what are you going to do with all that money? And Peyton said, earn it. Well, that's a pretty good lesson for life, and it's a pretty good lesson for Purdue. And those of you in Summer Start are a very special group, because by coming here for this program, you're going to earn your way into Purdue University. And to me, that sets you apart in a very meaningful fashion. I just want to congratulate you for that. Tell you that starting right now, we are with you every step of the way. We want you to succeed as Summer Start participants have in the past, and in what has become a very promising addition to the Purdue portfolio of academic offerings. Now, finally, all of you, this is the first day. You are pioneers in a way I hope you already perceive, but let me elaborate. Today is the first day of an historic year in Purdue history. It's going to be an historic year at every college that opens, which is going to be most of them in America, we now know. And quite possibly the most important year ever. And for you to have all the benefits I just talked about and everything else that will go with a well-rounded on-campus experience, we've all got to do something that none of our predecessors ever was asked to do. And that is pull together in a very disciplined, concerted, everyday sort of way to make sure this place is safe and we can keep operating all the way to Thanksgiving. So you're going to hear about the Protect Purdue Pledge. Please take it seriously. Please understand that in the main, it's not about you. Young people, people of your age worldwide are handling this virus very, very easily, and in most cases, we now know with fewer, if any, even symptoms. This is really about protecting others, those who are going to teach you, who are going to make your time here possible, who are going to work in the buildings, staff the offices that enable you to get started on your Boilermaker career. And you're protecting Purdue itself, because if we don't pull this off, if things were to take a downturn here, for your safety and the safety of others, we'd have to stop and return to the very unfortunate situation we've all just come through. But we can do this. Just want to tell you in closing that I spent 90 minutes earlier today on a national webinar, something like this, people talking about going back to college. And again, I heard, as I've been hearing for weeks and weeks, that you're kidding yourself. Young people will not summon the discipline to observe this pledge and do these things, to wear masks indoors and maintain distance and take their temperature and protect the community. And I'm telling people, I don't buy it. I know the kind of young people you're about to join here at Purdue. Let me tell you, I don't like doing it this way. I am not built for social distance. Those students you'll meet who've been here before will tell you, I've spent 8 years out among our students every chance I could get. And I'm not going to be happy until I get a chance to resume that. But I know them, and I believe I know you well enough to say the naysayers are wrong. We can and will do this. We'll do it for all the right reasons. And if, particularly, if our students will take the leadership that I expect, we will show the nation and the world that we can operate a place the size of Purdue to Purdue standards, delivering the kind of on-campus education that we're known for, despite this lousy pandemic. So we are happy to have you here. I cannot wait for the opportunity to thank each and every one of you and say welcome to Purdue in person. Boiler up.
Thanks so much, President Daniels, for joining us, and we'll definitely see you around campus.
Okay, see you then.
Up next, we have Asada Gilmore. Asada is the president of Purdue Student Government, and Asada also started during the summer. So I know she's going to talk with you a little bit about that. Go ahead and take it over, Asada.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, John, for having me and allowing me to speak this evening. So hello, Boilermakers and parents of Boilermakers. As John said, my name is Asada Gilmore. I'm a rising senior from Chicago, Illinois, in the city. People have questions. Studying finance with a minor in French. And I have the honor of serving as the student body president for the 2020-2021 school year. Like I said, I am so thrilled to have the opportunity to speak with you and welcome you into the Purdue community. Like many, if not all of you, I started my Purdue career the summer before my freshman year as a member of the Business Opportunity Program, BOP for short. If we're being honest, I wasn't too thrilled with the idea of giving up my final summer before college to take classes on a campus I had never been to in the middle of Indiana. But that summer was amazing and equipped me with all the tools that I needed to be successful. An empty campus allowed me to get lost and explore the grounds of Purdue without judgment until I became an expert. My summer courses taught me how to manage my time and study material in a way that I didn't know was necessary and definitely hadn't done in high school. Finally, my peers quickly turned into friends that to this day continue to enhance my Purdue experience. A key difference that I'm sure you're all noting at home between my Purdue summer and your current experience is the addition of a global pandemic. As President Daniels said, many aspects of campus have been changed to ensure the health and safety of everyone within the Purdue and Greater Lafayette community. But I can assure you that we haven't lost any of our charm, spirit, or Boilermaker pride in the process. The pandemic has brought about an incredible opportunity to change the way we learn and interact with one another for the better. You are joining a world-renowned institution during a distinct moment in history, and in many ways, you will all be looked to as leaders during the upcoming semester. By the end of the summer, you will all be experts on navigating campus in a socially distanced manner, avoiding Zoom meeting fatigue, attending virtual events, hosting virtual events, and wearing masks in a fashionable way. We hope that you all will share your newly acquired skills with those that join us in August. In closing, whether you find yourself physically on campus or online, please know that you are not on this journey alone. Among the thousands of organizations, departments, and people that are here to uplift and affirm you during this time, Purdue Student Government will always be available as a resource. We're here to promote and support an inclusive campus environment and amplify the student voice in order to advocate for your needs and wants throughout the school year. As a shameless plug, which I had to throw in, PSG will reopen applications at the beginning of the semester. If you are interested in defending the rights, interests, and voices of the student body and want to advocate for change, I encourage you to apply and join our team. Thank you so much again for the opportunity to speak with you this evening, and I look forward to working with you and for you throughout the next year. Boiler up, hammer down, and hail Purdue.
Thanks so much, Asada. I'm sure that you guys will also be seeing Asada a lot around campus throughout the year. Matt, I can see the chat, so I see a lot of chatter that's in there. A lot of students seem very excited to come to campus tomorrow. I'm glad to see you all connected over there. So I'll take a couple minutes again, talk with you guys just a little bit about the programs that you all are entering into. Has some wipes, the Protect Purdue Pledge, hand sanitizer. There's also 2 cloth face masks in there. Here's one of them here so that you can take your face mask and you can start wearing these right away. When you move in, Elizabeth Hartley will talk with you a little bit about move in, but when you move in, make sure that you and any of your guests, and you can have up to 2 guests to help you with move in, are wearing face masks at the time of check-in. If that packet, if your PPE kit, if anything is missing, if you don't have your name tag, you'll have a lanyard with a name tag on it for the program as well. On the back of that name tag is the Protect Purdue Pledge that you should have already affirmed through your Brightspace module, and the number to the Protect Purdue Health Center. And Dr. Rickus and Kathy will talk about those in a little bit more detail. If anything isn't there, there will be a table set up in the front lobby of your residence hall. 2 of our staff members will be in Earhart, and 2 of our staff members will be over in Harrison. Please stop down at the table if you're missing anything from you. So those are the main updates that I have for you. We're really excited to see you. I know you've been receiving a lot of information from me over the last few weeks. We will send something out again after the webinar is over tonight, just to make sure that you guys have all the information you need. I'll also send the COVID testing form again. If you haven't signed it, please sign it. If you can print it, bring that with you, and you're going to give that to the team at check-in tomorrow. So this time, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Jenna Rickus so she can talk with you all about the Protect Purdue Pledge.
Hi, everybody. I want to welcome you on behalf of your professors. So I know that one of the big reasons you want to be on campus is we know you want to be with your fellow students, but we also know you want to be with your professors. Our faculty, your professors, they're world leaders, they're researchers, innovators, and it's important to know they are very committed to your academic experience. And they've been working very, very hard all summer to transform your courses to be ready to welcome you back this fall to deliver, as President Daniels said, the kind of rigorous and transformative education that we expect at Purdue as we overlay this new infrastructure of Protect Purdue that allows you to come back to campus and all of us be together. So I was with your professors, your early and summer start professors just today, actually, and they're very excited. And it's the Protect Purdue plan is really what enables us to welcome you back. Excuse me, talk about Zoom fatigue. I've been on Zoom and WebEx and everything all day. I'm losing my voice from talking. Anyway, so the Protect Purdue plan is what enables us to welcome you back to be with your professors. And you should have received information on the training videos that introduce you to the Protect Purdue plan. If you've watched them, you probably recognized Asada already. And if you haven't watched them yet, please do, and take that short quiz at the end. you will need to retake at the end. There is a quiz. Chalk it up for your first Purdue A plus. I guess you do need to get 100% on that quiz before you move in and start your classes. So the most important part of that training, excuse me, oh, that's better, is without a doubt the Protect Purdue Pledge. So you are pledging to keep yourself, others, and your new Boilermaker community safe. So really take that seriously. Your professors are. And this video, though, will just really be the beginning. You're going to be living the Protect Purdue plan. You'll be living that pledge every day. And you may receive additional instructions in specific classes from your professors. So make sure you're listening and pay attention to them. Your professors are going to be guiding you through the Protect Purdue plan in the classroom, just as they will guide you in matters of chemistry and sociology and such. So with that, again, I just want to welcome you, congratulate you, know that your professors have been working hard and they're very excited to have you join us on campus and kick off your Purdue career. Thanks.
Okay. So, assuming now everybody's successful, nobody's testing at or above 100.4 degrees, and everybody's successfully moving through check-in, the next step is to that staging area at the McCutcheon parking garage. And at the McCutcheon parking garage, that initial staging area is just kind of help with the traffic flow, but you will move into the covered part of the garage. And the first stage there, you will receive instructional material that will ask you to go to a website. You'll be given that website there, be very clear to you there what that website is. It's actually COVID, COVID, dot, V as in Victor, LT, dot, CO, not dot com, dot CO. But you'll be given those instructions there, so you needn't remember it now. And you will be asked to go to this website using your smart device, and essentially you will register for testing at that website. You'll be eventually directed on to receive a testing kit. You'll enter your testing kit number. Then you'll be directed to a parking spot in the parking garage. And this testing kit is collecting saliva. So we will be asking you to spit, yes, spit in a controlled fashion into a collection device. And then when you have spit in this collection device up to a designated line, you'll turn on your car lights, your blinkers, your flashers, and somebody will confirm that you have spit enough into the collection device, and then give you the final steps to complete the test. So we will be testing all of the students checking in tomorrow. And there are some very, very critical reminders I need to leave you with as far as tomorrow's testing process is concerned. We're going to ask you to be spitting. So what we want you to do the night before or earlier in the day before you plan to arrive for your check-in, we want you to hydrate with lots and lots of water. It'll make it a lot easier to spit effectively. I'm not sure I ever thought I'd be giving college students pointers on how to spit effectively, but there it is. So we want you to hydrate with water a lot the night before or the morning leading up to it. But the key is that there is a cutoff. You may not eat or drink anything 30 minutes before it's time for you to test. And especially, you should not be chewing gum that day, or you should not have been smoking or chewing any tobacco products. So hydrate a bunch up until 30 minutes before, then no eating, drinking, chewing gum, smoking, or chewing tobacco. Otherwise, you'll have to wait, and we'll have to determine, how we can fit you back into the testing schedule. So the last pointers are: remember your consent. Bring that signed consent. Bring a smartphone for sure. Bring your photo ID and hydrate and have a 30-minute cutoff.
Kathy,
I hope that helps. Yes.
so the internet went down at Purdue for a couple of minutes. We're all back up now. I'm joining you guys now from my smartphone. So,
Okay.
Kathy, could you start over and go for about your first 5 minutes so the students can hear those? They did get the last couple minutes. They were able to hear you.
Okay. So starting over, Dr. Rickus introduced me, and I should start from that standpoint, right?
Yes, that's where we dropped for the students.
Okay.
That's where the live stream fell off.
That's where the students lost us. All righty. Now that you have heard what we're about, I'll tell you a bit about the basics, the background. Again, I'm Kathy Scott. I'm a part of the Health Monitoring and Surveillance Oversight team here at Purdue University, and a part of that leadership team connected to the Protect Purdue Health Center. The Protect Purdue Health Center has been set up very specifically to help enable a very, very successful and healthy environment for everybody at Purdue University. We want you to remember that you are absolutely a critical part of our recipe for success. So the Protect Purdue Health Center is guided by what we call a medical A team. This is a group of physicians with background specialties in infectious disease, in emergency medicine, in epidemiology, in internal medicine. We have specialized care providers also as nurse practitioners and case managers. And to that end, the Protect Purdue Health Center is both a physical on-site presence as well as a virtual telemedicine presence. We have an on-site medical director as well as on-site case managers. The Protect Purdue Health Center's telephone number is 765-496-4636 or INFO. And that number is on the back of your name badge. So that name badge is important to you for so many reasons. But on the back of that name badge, it reminds you of your Purdue Pledge commitment and the telephone number to connect to the Protect Purdue Health Center. That number is answered in an automated fashion. And if you just select one, it will direct you immediately to the COVID or Protect Purdue Health Center case managers. Now, the Protect Purdue Health Center is set up for all things COVID related for COVID management. You know, should students experience some other kind of generalized healthcare concerns, sprain an ankle, that sort of thing, the Purdue University Student Hospital follows general medical concerns, accidents, those sorts of things. But the Protect Purdue Health Center is separately focused so we can give the best high-level care as it relates to any questions for COVID-related care. I believe then I transitioned into talking about the steps in check-in and the importance of the very first stop and how you might go one way with a temperature and one way without a temperature. John, do you know if you need me to repeat that or not?
I would repeat it, Kathy, just to make sure, because I've received a few emails from students and we see a few questions in the chat.
Okay, so let me just run through it one more time. You can check me and I'll be sure to reinforce it if you've already heard it. So when you are on your way to arrive at Purdue for your check-in, check your car for your signed consent, make sure it's with you. Check your car for your smartphone device, make sure that's with you. Check your car and yourself for your photo ID. So when you arrive at Discovery Park parking lot, where the staging will begin for check-in, the very first stop will be a identification confirmation and a temperature scanning check. So EMTs, Purdue Fire Department's EMS is helping us out, and they will confirm your ID. They will give the student a wristband in order to confirm which student is in the car. And then at that point in time, the student and the two other people in the car, there should only really be three, those three people will all be temperature scanned. It's a no-touch infrared thermometer. It takes maximum maybe 2 seconds, but each individual will be scanned by the EMS personnel. If your temperature is below 100.4 degrees, if it is below 100.4 degrees, then you will be directed to move forward into the residence hall check step, where the residence hall folks will check you in, give you your packet of information about I believe your room key, room assignment. They'll have your ID in there. And then your next step will be to the McCutcheon parking garage. And that has a little parking staging area for traffic control purposes. If when your temperature is scanned, it is at or above 100.4 degrees, you will not be allowed to progress to the residence hall check-in. You will not be allowed to enter the residence halls at that point in time, but you will be sent directly or directed directly to the McCutcheon parking garage and its staging area to go directly for testing, and that's COVID-19 testing. Everyone will be tested. All students that are arriving will be tested. But if you scan to be positive at the temperature check, you will not be allowed to get any residence hall check-in materials, but you will be directed straight to the McCutcheon garage staging area for testing. Now, if in the car, one of the helpers is scanned positive for temperature, 100.4 or above, but the student is not, the same applies. The student will not be allowed to check into the residence halls because the student will have been in what is considered to be significant clinical close contact with somebody that could be symptomatic of COVID-19. So even if the student does not scan high on the temperature, but one of the two individuals in the car does, the student will not be allowed to check into the residence hall, but will be directed directly to the McCutcheon garage for direct testing. Now, in that either case, if the student's temperature is high or if the student's temperature is not high, but someone else's in the car is high, after they complete their testing, their saliva testing, they will be directed to call the Protect Purdue Health Center and be connected with a case manager, and they will be directed and assisted to move in by Purdue Fire or Purdue Police, but they will be assisted by direction to go to the Purdue Village for quarantine. Lodgings are available, and we'll give you some help to move in there, and you will then follow the directions of the case managers for quarantining purposes. So it's important to know. If indeed there was nobody scanning with the temperature, then they went to complete their residence hall packet pickup. From there, they go to the McCutcheon staging area and will be directed into the garage for collection of a saliva COVID-19 testing sample. And that testing sample will begin at the first stage by directing each student to download onto their smart device or to go to a website on their smart device, covid.v as in Victor, lt.co, not .com, .co. Don't worry about remembering that right now. It'll be given to you there at the appropriate step of the testing site, but you'll be directed to go to this website and register at a secure website, which will connect you to your testing kit. And you will be given step-by-step instructions of registering the testing kit you're given. And then you'll be actually just directed to a parking slot. And in that parking space, you will be then finish opening up your testing kit, and you will be given a sample container into which you're going to spit. And as I said before, you maybe have heard this, I did not envision that one of my duties would be to instruct college students how to spit effectively, but here it is. And we do need you to spit into the container to a designated line. Once you spit into that container, the correct volume, you'll put your flashers on, and a staff person will come and verify that you have enough and give you the final steps to complete your test process. You'll turn in your sample, you'll drive out, you'll go to your dorm, you'll get settled in, and you'll be on your first step for an absolute success. So there are lots of steps. Actually, there really are just going to be 4, but you will be given very clear information and direction every step along the way. But I cannot emphasize enough, so I'll repeat it yet one more time. Come with your consent, come with your smartphone device, come with your photo ID, and absolutely without question, Hydrate with water the night before, the morning before you come, but absolutely set an alarm on your phone so that 30 minutes before you arrive, you have not had anything to eat, anything to drink. You are not having any chewing gum, no smoking or no chewing tobacco. Absolutely not. We cannot accept your spit specimen. If you have done any of those things within those 30 minutes, we'll have to pull you out of the line and figure out some way to get you in after the fact that day. So do everybody a really great service to move this process along, please. Take your own personal responsibility to be well prepared, to complete the successful testing, and to stop 30 minutes before you arrive for that testing. No drinking water, no drinking coffee, no eating, no chewing tobacco, no smoking, no chewing gum, none of those things. So I hope I have at least given you a quick overview as fast as I could, and I can't wait to see you all this coming week as we finish your entrance into Purdue. Thanks, John.
Thanks so much, Kathy. So a couple things for students. After this is over, I'm going to send all of you a reminder email. So I saw a few people asking about the bright space. We'll have that in there. The map, which we'll talk about move-in in just a few minutes, but the map for move-in and other things will be in there again. And I'll send it to the students and each parent address or family member that we have on file. So the next person up is Carl Krieger to talk a little bit about Steps to Leaps at Purdue University.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome, new Boilermakers. I'm really happy you're here. My name is Carl Krieger, and I am Director of Residential Education for Student Life. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit about Steps to Leaps. Steps to Leaps is a new program at Purdue University. It started last year, and what it entails is really, it's a program that brings together different programs and services and those sorts of things that will help guide you towards self-improvement and bolster your fortitude and ultimately your success at Purdue. A few years ago, we started thinking, what were the things that really made a student successful at Purdue, and how could we help you get that? And so we came up with 5 pillars. And before I show you what those 5 pillars are, I'd like for you to take just a second and if you like, close your eyes. Otherwise, just open up your imagination and think about what it is that you've been looking forward to with Purdue. And what are the things that you hope you get to do in your career at Purdue? Maybe you've thought about joining a club or an organization and being involved as part of being a Purdue Boilermaker. Maybe you've thought of doing research and finding the cure for a disease. Maybe you've thought about finding a friend group that you know will support you and help you become the best person that you can be. Maybe it's about helping others and how you want to serve your fellow person and build them up. Maybe it's becoming a better leader. Maybe you were a leader in high school and you want to become an even better leader. Somebody like Asada, who is our PSG president, who you just heard from, maybe you want to be like her and you want those skills and you want to build them here at Purdue. Maybe it's that you want to just try new things. You want to try things, you want to put yourself out there, and you don't mind if you're going to fail. You know you probably will at some of those things if you're trying everything. And so maybe you will, and you just want to have a space where you know that there are people that will support you when you're trying a new adventure. And so that's what we hope that you're thinking about when it comes to your experience at Purdue. And so we've identified these 5 pillars, these 5 overarching areas that we want to help to engage you in. We want to help educate you about, and we want you to find resources in these areas. And the first one is well-being, because we want you to stay healthy in your body, brain, and spirit. And we know that that's a lifelong journey. And so we hope that you'll learn strategies to improve your own well-being with steps to security, health, and prosperity. We know that some of you want to be leaders and want to develop professionally. And we know that our Boilermakers have a strong tradition of leadership. And so we want you to learn how to tap into your own strengths as you become the next generation of leaders with steps to initiative, guidance, and direction. We know that you want to have an impact. We know that you want to have an impact on your fellow Boilermakers as well as the world. We know you want to leave your footprint. We know you want to change the world. And so we hope that you learn about the importance of creating an impact through your everyday actions. And we hope to provide the steps to modify and touch and influence others. Networks are an extremely large part of our community. Having a residential community is built upon the idea that you're going to build that community by living amongst each other. We know that we're going to have to do this in a unique method this year, but we know that you still will build these networks that will help support and grow you. And these networks are going to be your peers, they're going to be staff, and they're going to be faculty members. They're going to be all of these people that are supporting you and helping you grow. And through your experience at Purdue, you're going to build that network. And then finally, we know that you're going to stumble and fall sometimes because you're going to put yourself out there. We know that about our Boilermakers. You're going to put yourself out there. You're going to try new things. And sometimes you're going to succeed. And sometimes you might just stumble. And what we know is that you're going to find strategies to tap into your own inner fortitude to overcome those challenges and become the best Boilermaker with steps to resolve and character. And so these are the program pillars, and you're going to see during your time here at Purdue that programs are going to talk about steps to leaps, and you may see these brands. And so what I hope that you will do over your career at Purdue is that you're going to look for those ways to get involved in some of those steps to leaps programs. You're going to look for those resources. And so the first way to do that is to go to purdue.edu/steps to leaps. And on that page, you're going to find all sorts of resources that can help guide you towards programs that will help build these areas within you. You can check out our modules at purdue.steps-to-leap/learning modules. And you can go in there and you can hear from other students about how those pillar areas helped support their growth, as well as get access to knowledge and to educational tools that will help you grow in that area. As I said before, you're going to see so many programs over your time at Purdue, and I hope that when you see one that identifies itself as a Steps to Leaps pillar program, that you will attend that one, that you will see that as you continue to go to, say, leadership and professional development programs that identify themselves as such, that are part of the Steps to Leaps program, that you'll see that you'll begin to develop these leadership and professional development skills, and they will just become more and more a part of you and help you grow as a leader. And then if you become part of an organization or you become the leader of an organization, we invite you to invite Steps to Leaps representatives to come and talk with your leadership group. And you can do that by emailing stepstoleaps@purdue.edu. And you can email that email at any time to get more information or to ask what programs are coming up if you can't find one, or if you're searching for a resource. I encourage you to email Steps to Leaps and ask what programs are happening or where are those resources that can help you grow as a student. So I just want to say thank you for becoming part of our our Boiler Nation. We're so happy to have you here. We are here to help support you in your growth. So if you reflect back to what it is you had in your mind when I asked you to think about what you wanted to do with your Purdue experience, what experiences you wanted to have, what growth area did you want to grow in, that I hope that you will remember as you come onto campus, that when you see the Steps to Leaps insignias, when you start seeing those brands, that will help draw you to those programs, and you'll say, I know what that program is, and I'm going to be part of that program because I know that that program is one that will help me grow. And so I just wanted to say thank you so much for being future Boilermakers. We're really happy that you're going to be here on campus, and boiler up.
Thanks so much, Carl. So now next up on our list, we have Elizabeth Hartley to talk with you about move-in. And Ellie's going to start sharing her presentation with you all.
Thank you, John. Thanks for pulling up my PowerPoint as well. As we walk through these slides, I'm going to ask towards the end, Alex Harrington to join me in sharing some information with you. Alex is the Residence Education Coordinator of Harrison Hall, and he's got some good things to share with you. Some of what I'm going to share with you is going to be a little bit of review of what Kathy shared earlier, but it's probably good to hear it again. And I know you're going to appreciate just really having all that information. It's a lot of information, I know. So you can move to the next slide. Thank you so much. So this is kind of the last hour, but hopefully most of these things you are ready for. You hopefully before you arrive, you've connected with your roommate, talk about what to bring and what not to bring, that you are going to review your move-in time so you know when to show up at the correct time. And again, Kathy shared a little bit of this, but if you're not feeling well, stay home. And you can only plan to bring a maximum of 2 guests to help you to move in. And this is to support social distancing, not to get too many people in the hall at once. You're going to bring your face mask, which will be required, and you'll absolutely have to have it to enter the building. And just a challenge there to expect to have a great Boilermaker on campus experience like Carl just shared with us. So one of the things, next slide, please. The next thing is hopefully you're already packed, but if you pack some of these things, you're going to need to unpack them because these are things that are not allowed in the residence halls. I'm not going to read all those to you, but please look them over. All these are provided for you because for safety, living in a large community like you do in residence hall. So you can find this on our website, and I'll give you those websites in a little bit, but there you go. There's some more information that you can go to. And this is also really helpful on things that you should bring, that you should be prepared to bring. So hopefully, again, you've done that before tonight because I'm sure you're all packed and ready to get here tomorrow or Friday. So, but it is good review just to go to our website. So once you arrive, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. Be sure that you arrive at your assigned time. And directions for your place to check in, Kathy mentioned will be the Discovery parking lot, but you'll get information in that in your email. And we are going to provide you a touchless check-in. It means we'll not be touching the things, we'll not be touching you as we hand you items. So as again, this is a little bit of review, but you and your guests will remain in the vehicle, and your temperature will be checked by an EMT while you're waiting. And then students will need to have a printout of their room assignment email and a photo ID for check-in. And the people that will be helping you check in, you'll will take your photo ID and go retrieve your check-in packet, which will have all the information that we have discussed. And your PUID will be in the packet, and we will swipe that to show that you're checking in today for the residence halls. They'll return those, your photo to you and give you your Purdue ID, your room key, and a map to the COVID-19 testing site that Kathy referred to. So again, you don't have to try to keep all this in your head. It's going to be there for you, but that's, again, what you can expect when you arrive. So next slide, please. So once you've been through your test and you're been approved to move on, you'll receive instructions on where to unload your vehicle. And this is will be based on your room location in the building. Now, just remember, to enter the building, you and your guests must wear a face mask. And after unloading, you will get information on where to go park your car while you finish unpacking your room, but you have a maximum of 2 hours to move in. Now, maybe you don't have everything in place, but your guests will need to leave at the 2-hour mark. And again, this is to support not having too many people in the hall at one time. Your roommate will be assigned different times to move in, again, to not get too many people in your room. And then the bed placement in the room is important. We have set that up so there's a minimum of 10 feet between the heads of the beds. So the beds must remain as they are set up when you move in. Again, this is for social distancing. So at this point, I'm going to hand it over to Alex, and he's going to tell you a little bit about what to expect as you step into this new role.
Awesome. Thank you, Elizabeth. So when you do get here and you've moved in and you're getting settled and everything like that, we want to encourage some community building. And so to start that, we're going to want you to connect with your RA. So every floor is going to have a resident assistant that is there to kind of facilitate some connection, connect you with campus resources, and just be there as just another support network for you as you begin your Purdue journey. There will be a first floor meeting, July 10th, 9:45 to 10:15. And I know this is built into your schedules, so we hope to see all of you there. It'd be very helpful if you all attend. RAs will be sending out links to those meetings and how to join, so that way they can, again, connect with you, have you connect with your peers on the floor and everything like that. We also want to encourage you to join the floor Slack or GroupMe. Slack is very similar to GroupMe. It is a way to connect with others on a digital platform, group messages, things like that. And that is what some of the halls will be using. I know specifically in Harrison will be using that. Again, that is just a way for the RAs to connect with you, you to connect with the RA, and for you to connect with your peers on the floor. It's a giant group message, and there's some really cool things that we are going to try to do with it this summer and into the fall. And RAs will have either instructions, send out links, QR codes for you all to join. Finally, I want to encourage you all to join hall clubs. For those that are coming into Harrison Hall, you are able to join Cavalier Club from the get-go, and we're going to get started on that right in the summer. For those that are in the other halls, early start that will be moving to different residence halls on campus, I want to encourage you to seek out hall clubs and as a way to kind of get involved. It is they're all advised by professional staff that work in the buildings, and they want to see these clubs thrive, so that way we can have programming and, again, fostering that connection within the hall. We know that COVID is, makes it provides a challenge for this connection, but the RAs and club and everything else that we have in the halls is really trying to be designed to help you make those connections on campus.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Elizabeth and Alex. So a couple things with that. I know that there's a few students who are already living on campus this summer. Some of you who've been here as long as me, some of our international students who are currently in the United States. And we also have a few commuter students who are coming to campus. So for you all, if you're already here, if you're commuting, you'll check in with us in front of Harrison Hall between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. on Friday. We'll give you your name tags. We'll give you your wellness kits there. And then we'll also we'll need your consent forms, and then we'll take you over for COVID testing. So I'm going to turn it over now to Brian Coker to talk a little bit about university residents' conduct.
Awesome. Thanks so much, John. Hi, everyone. My name is Brian Coker. I'm going to get my screen shared here. Okay, fantastic. So my name is Brian Coker. I am a residential advocacy and conduct coordinator for university residences. And so a little bit about my job is I work to support students in a variety of ways. I really like my job. I like the ability to get to know students. Once in a while, though, when I meet with students, it is because perhaps they have done something, maybe a behavior, maybe something that violated university policy, and we meet to talk about it. So this is usually the part of the presentation where parents, authority figures in your family may nudge you or give you an elbow to remind you that, hey, you're not invincible. There are certain rules and expectations that come with the privilege of attending university. So when you agree to come to Purdue and live on our campus and participate in our community, you do agree to uphold certain policies and expectations. So this would be the Student Code of Conduct. All of our students who attend Purdue are subject to that code and following its expectations. And so I definitely would encourage you to read that over and know what is expected of a Purdue student. This is kind of the time to start thinking about transitions. And so I prompt this question for you all. Why are you here? Why are you pursuing a degree at Purdue? What has brought you to West Lafayette? And most people answer this question in the aims of getting a career or getting a job or going out and changing the world. And those are amazing, wonderful things. There's also intrinsic value of building social networks and learning about folks who are different than yourself while you're on campus. And sometimes that comes with a little bit of distraction from what we came to Purdue originally to do. So normally in this part of the presentation, when it's not over WebEx, I get a little feedback from the audience. So I'm hoping y'all are with me on this, but I would be curious if you know what the average salary of a Purdue graduate is in 2017. I know this data is a little dated, but you're coming to college to hopefully get out there and have a career, get a job that is meaningful to you and can contribute to society. And to do so, you're going to have to persist through your years at Purdue, which means maybe not running into rules or policy violations that are going to hinder your ability to be successful on campus. And so in case you didn't know, the average salary is almost $60,000 right out of graduation. Our Boilermakers are going out and doing amazing things. But sometimes our behavior or decisions we make while we're on campus will get in our way of doing so. And I am here to talk briefly, while not necessarily the most fun topic, about what some of those most important rules are so that you can understand them before you get here, follow them so that you can have a good time at college, but also make sure to persist there to graduation. So the main thing, I love a meme. I know those speak well to our students. So imagine if parents, if they had parent-teacher conferences at college, a mother asks, "How's my son doing?" And the professor says, "I have never seen this man in my life." So expectations are shifting, right? Mom and dad, older sisters, other folks who support you are not there anymore. And some of you may not have those experiences coming from Purdue. I want to acknowledge that as well. But there are shifting expectations where this might be a time for you to really start thinking about how you hold yourself accountable and how you make sure you get what you need to get done so you can get that good Purdue education, and also have some fun and get to know some people along the way. But the expectations are shifting and the ball is really moving into your court. And so what does that mean? And be thinking about that for yourself before you come to campus. I also want to talk to you a little bit about alcohol. There is a lot of myths, assumptions, beliefs that, hey, college is this time to party and rage and consume excessive amounts of alcohol. Number one, I think it's really important to consider our context with COVID-19 and that what that might mean for some of those environments where students might find themselves with alcohol, right? And that right now we should be very conscious of the distance we hold with one another and making sure to wear our masks when we're out of our personal living space, and not sharing open containers with other people. So this is going to be a pretty crucial year where we really think about how we engage with certain aspects of the typical college culture. One thing I want to point out is if you look at the statistic, and this is a Purdue stat, this was surveyed from Purdue students, we say 67% of Purdue students say they had students drink alcohol 1 or less times in a week, okay? So I share that stat with you to kind of explain that college is, I promise you, not just a party from start to finish. There is a lot of data to support that folks who engage too much with alcohol during their collegiate experience have a negative correlation to grades and academic performance. So just want you to know our Boilermakers, while they may partake, there are plenty that choose not to drink and may not have a drink of alcohol until they turn 21. So just knowing that there is not necessarily this huge crazy party culture that one might expect or think that they need to assimilate themselves to fit in or be a part of our Purdue community. So just making good choices to keep ourselves safe, healthy, especially during the time of COVID, and to take care of one another, because alcohol and alcohol-related trauma is real for college students, and we want to make sure you and your friends stay safe so you can persist to that graduation. Okay, another meme for you. So, student Googles where to buy drugs on the internet. Dad texts, why is the FBI at our house? Okay, so there is some trend across our country to legalize marijuana. Okay, I am here to just share with you, and it's not to have a philosophical conversation about whether we should or should not legalize, but just to know that in the state of Indiana, it is not. It is definitely not legal, and it is criminal. So I am sharing this information with you because I want you to be prepared and to know and understand what that expectation is, right? And that having marijuana on your person, using marijuana, does come with inherent risks beyond the health risks, just when it comes to your conduct with the institution, and generally speaking with the legal system, because it is not legal in the state of Indiana, okay? So I just think it's good to put that out in the front, because there are definitely risks and ramifications by choosing to use marijuana in the state of Indiana specifically. So putting that out in front before our students get here, because some of you may be traveling from states where it is legal or has been legal either recreationally or medically for a while, and that is not the case in our state. So I believe in transparency, and to set you all up for success, wanted to make sure we share that. The last thing, and this also is pretty tied up in the complications around COVID-19, is talking to you all about consent. So normally this is the part in my speech where I say, hey, res halls are full of beds. And what is something that sometimes happens in bed? Sex, right? Not every person is going to have sex when they come to Purdue. Not everyone is going to engage in relationships in that way when they come to Purdue. But I think it would be foolish and not transparent to talk about that being some experience for some of our students, right? And so talking about consent and understanding what that topic is super important, because everybody at Purdue is expected to follow the consent policy. Like I said, in the times of COVID, close proximity with folks you are not living personally with or sharing quarantine or self-quarantine space with would probably not be advisable to be having sex, even if it is consensual. But because we hope that we are not in the times of COVID for your entire Purdue experience, this policy is still a super important one to know and understand, so that we can make sure to respect each other, respect each other's boundaries, and understand how to just take care of each other during our time at Purdue. So we're going to watch a short little video that kind of explains what consent is all about.
Our days are filled with questions. What do you want to eat? You want to hit the gym? You want to come over and watch a movie? And depending on how we're feeling that day, and on our relationship with that person, we usually respond to these questions pretty clearly and directly. You might say something like, sorry, I can't tonight, or I have too much to do. Now, your friend might be bummed that you can't hang out, but they usually understand, and they say something like, okay, another time. Asking questions and respecting responses is something we do every single day, and it demonstrates a really important concept: consent. I'm sure you've heard of this before, and probably in relation to this word. Now we're going to break down exactly what all of this means. Consent is clearly communicated. Taking time to talk and ensure everyone involved mutually agrees to the sexual activity that's about to take place is really important. If your friend tells you they're too busy to hang out tonight, but you show up at their door anyway and force them to watch Netflix, you didn't have consent. Listening and respecting others' boundaries is critical when it comes to consent. Consent is ongoing. Just because someone wants to make out with you, do not assume it means they want to have sex. If you were lifting weights with your friend at the gym, would you just add a bunch of weight without telling them? You'd probably ask first. Similarly, consent should be gained as all sexual activity progresses. Someone may start off thinking they're comfortable with something, but they might change their mind at any time. Consent is given voluntarily. Consent does not exist if there's a threat of force or violence. If someone feels potential consequences of not engaging in sexual activity, they're unable to give consent. If you find yourself trying to convince someone to have sex with you, you're doing it wrong, I promise. Consent can be taken back. Just because someone came over and watched Netflix with you last week does not mean they want to watch Netflix with you for 3 nights straight. Respect someone's decision to say no. And you guessed it, this means you should ask for consent every single time. Consent is only able to be given when sober. An incapacitated person cannot give consent. Someone who is unable to make decisions as they normally would because they're affected by alcohol or drugs, or because they're sleeping, cannot give consent to sexual activity. Let's repeat this once again, because it's really important. Unconscious people cannot give consent. So now that you know what consent is, you might be wondering how to be sure you have consent. The answer is pretty simple. Just ask. Consent should not be assumed from silence or passivity. If someone's looking away, not speaking, or disengaged, they're likely not giving consent. A clearly communicated, excited, and sober yes is a great way to know someone is giving consent. So before you decide to Netflix and chill, make sure to get consent first.
So, like I said, not everyone may choose to engage in sex and any sort of activity around that while on campus, but I think it's important to talk about. And I am consistently having conversations with students about what this means from a policy standpoint and what this means practically when they're engaging with their peers. So the big things to remember is that alcohol, drugs, they very much complicate the nature of consent. Someone needs to be in the right state of mind to be able to give consent, right? So just be very conscious and also think about ramifications around COVID and potential spread when holding close space with other folks. So the last couple things I want to touch on before I turn it back over is a couple policy updates. So obviously, Alex mentioned this, that COVID is impacting the way our normal res hall systems work. One of the biggest ways that it has changed our policies is the guest policy. So because we need to make sure that we are not creating pockets in our res halls for germs to spread quickly, we have to severely reduce and restrict the amount of people that are allowed to come in and out of the res halls. And that is why you're only able to bring 2 people to campus to help you move in. So what we need you to know about the guest policy moving forward is that students are allowed to have double the number of occupants in any room at any given time. So to put this practically, if you live in Earhart or Harrison, there's 2 roommates. That means you may have 2 guests with you in that room at that time. So 4 people total in one room at one time is all that is allowed. If you have a person beyond that, that would technically be considered a policy violation and would be adjudicated through the conduct process. That's where I talked about having kind of a meeting with someone and talking about the behavior that violated the policy. And I might be one of those people you meet with, right? My name is Brian, and I work in Earhart, kind of back by the vending machines. I'm always happy when students come in and say hi for reasons that are not conduct or behavioral related. But just know from a guest policy perspective, we can only have double the occupancy. So if it's an apartment with 3 people, you can have 6 people total in the apartment at any given time, okay? And that is done to ensure folks can socially distance and that we're not cramming too many people in one of those tight spaces. Another important piece of this is all roommates must consent to the guests that are brought into the room at all times. So this has always been a part of the policy, but we think it crucial to share right now specifically that both roommates really need to be okay before inviting those guests in because of the potential ramifications of doing so. So please know that you need to be communicating with your roommate. Also, only Purdue students are able to come into the res halls. Non-Purdue guests or off-campus visitors are not allowed into the res halls. So that's a pretty hard and fast rule. So please don't be inviting friends from other campuses, friends from your hometown to visit. They will not be permitted in the res halls. And if they are in the res halls, that would be considered a policy violation. The last thing I just want to share is our mask expectation. So just as the university has an expectation that everybody wears masks, students living in the res halls are expected to wear their masks when they are outside their personal living space. So that means when walking into the res hall and through the hallway, mask is on. Once you get in your own room, you can take your mask off. You might have questions, how do I take a shower? How do I brush my teeth, right? Obviously, you will not be able to keep your mask on during those activities, but we want you to put it on as soon as you're done because if we all hold ourselves accountable to that mask policy, that might be our way through this really challenging time for our university. So we're really leaning on our students to take that part seriously and know that it is an expectation of our staff that you wear your masks, okay? So the last thing is I just want you to remember why you're here. I had the semi-unfortunate job of lecturing a little bit about some of the rules and policies that are expected of students. They are there to keep you safe. They are there to keep our staff safe. So we just want to make sure to put that out in the front and be transparent. Just remember that you're here to get an education and to do amazing things, make your family and friends and yourself proud. So don't lose track of those things. Another thing that is important to remember is that threats are taken seriously on our campus. If you make a threat to someone else's safety in person, online, if you become physically violent with another person, that is not going to be tolerated in the res halls or on campus. So really think before you post on social media. Really kind of consider the emotions that are driving maybe your frustrations with the person. And we want our Boilermakers to use their words, to talk things out, to debate, but know that threats of any kind are a pretty hard line for us here. So be conscious of the things you say and do towards your fellow Boilermakers as we work to take care of each other over this next academic year. So thanks so much for your time, y'all. Don't forget why you're here. We're excited you're here in light of all of the things happening in our world. And so we're excited to welcome you, and do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions.
Thanks so much, Brian. So now, a really important topic for a lot of college students, food, and where you guys are going to eat, how you're going to eat. So I'm going to turn this over to Kara Powell to talk with you a little bit about dining. Hey, Kara, I think you're muted.
When I tried to share my screen, I got the mute button lost. Can everyone see my video or my screen?
We can see it and I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. So welcome everyone. I know it is a hot topic, dining, and what it will look like for this fall semester. So what I'm really going to touch base with now is kind of what dining is going to look like when you're with us here in July. You will be eating at Earhart Dining Court, and we will have breakfast, lunch, and dinner options 7 days a week. I'm not sure if John has shared, but I will touch on what those hours look like. So breakfast will be available at Earhart from 8 to 9:30, Monday through Sunday. Lunch 11 to 1:30, dinner 5 to 8 p.m., and then our on-the-go operation at Earhart will also be available from 7 to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. We will have 2 retail options available at 3rd Street. That will be the 3rd Street Starbucks and the 3rd Street Market, where you will be able to use your dining dollars. Those operations will be open Monday through Friday. The Starbucks 8 to 2 and the Market from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So we look forward to seeing you in our operations. So we have been spending a lot of time over the past few months coming up with a strategic operational plan so we could move students that will be arriving on campus through the lines quickly, adhering to all the social distancing and other health and safety guidelines that are a part of the Protect Purdue plan. So every decision that we've made has been based on a phased dining plan, and what that kind of looks like is as we move into July and into our fall semester, we will not have seating available in our dining courts, and our meal service and residential dining will be meal plan holders only. So those of you that are living with us have a meal plan, so you will be able to join us in Earhart. But anyone who is on campus for the program would be able to use the 3rd Street Starbucks and Market when it is open. So for those of you who have visited our dining courts prior to COVID, we were all you care to eat facilities, and our new climate, and just to abide by all the guidance and guidelines, our operational function has changed. So I really encourage everyone to download the Purdue Mobile Menus app. It is available through the App Store and then the Google Play, as it will be your friend as we move forward, and it will help you select the dining options. So kind of what dining will look like will be when you come to swipe in to a dining court, you'll pre-select kind of from looking at those menu choices. There will also be menu signs in the lobby and examples of what you would be getting, and you would select your station that you are going to get your complete meal from that day. So at each of those stations, that complete meal would be an entree, hot sides, a side salad if you choose, fruit, as well as a dessert and beverage. And so then you would take that with you as you exit the dining court and eat outside of the dining court. As I said, we will not have seating available in our first phase of dining. We are hopeful that later in the semester that we will be able to add additional seating. So from those meal choice options, there will be allergen friendly. We will have a top 8 free station, as well as vegan and vegetarian options, as that is something that we have always been proud of, is providing those meals for those students with special dietary needs. And so we still do have our registered dietitian on staff, and you can always reach her at allergicboiler@purdue.edu. If you have any concerns with food allergies or special dietary needs, I encourage you to reach out to her, and you can always find a lot of great helpful information at dining@purdue.edu. So I recommend, if you have additional questions, that you look at our webpage as well. So this model that you will see at Earhart is kind of the model that we will move into once we open, once school starts in August on the 24th. And so this is a great opportunity for us as a learning experience as well as you. And we will have lots of great, friendly, helpful staff to help you navigate all this, because I know it can be overwhelming. So, but I do encourage everyone to make sure that you use mobile menus, download it to be prepared. And you'll see lots of new exciting things also as we roll into August 24th. With retail swipe options that will also be available this fall. So I think everyone will have a great experience, and there will be challenges, but we are grateful in knowing that we can all work together to make it a great experience.
So thanks so much, Kara. We do have good news from physical facilities that we do have a large tent outside of Earhart, and you guys will be able to eat there. They should have that tent ready for us by Friday. So now we've got some question and answer. So we're going to make this pretty quick since we had a little trouble and we're over. But Ellie has been capturing some questions. Ellie, could you name just a few common ones? We're not going to be able to get to everything, but you all, whether you're online, most of the questions seem to be coming from on-campus students. Y'all are going to be here with us for 5 weeks and then continue into the fall semester. We do have orientation sessions for each group too on Friday, so we will be able to cover some of this stuff with you in person.
Yeah, a couple of the popular questions are about some logistical things that'll be going on tomorrow. Just overall, could you recap the students, if they come in a separate car from their parents or guardians, how would that work? If there are more than 3 people in the car, can others wait in the car while others move into the dorms? Are consent forms going to be available at the site if they don't have access to a printer? And then how are after hours testing? How is that going to work for the students? Kathy, this sounds like this might be right up your alley. Would you mind taking it?
I sure will give it my best shot, but I guess I can't really speak to the overall check-in process as it relates to more than 2 people, et cetera. I can absolutely speak, I think, to the consent form question. We will have blank consents available, for those that don't have access to a printer. So we have made that arrangements. I guess if there are more than 2 people in a car, which I would not recommend, but if there are more than 2 people in the car, then everybody is going to get temperature checked that is in the car with that student. So just be aware that, there is that potential for somebody to be at or 104 degrees, if there's any chance that they, aren't feeling well or even just feeling fine, but if they have a temperature of at or above 100.4 degrees, that will ensure that the student will not be able to check into the residence hall, will not get any of their check-in materials or able to move in, but will be sent directly to testing, will be processed through testing direct right away, and be sent to quarantine. And so just remember that those parts of the process won't vary. As it relates to somebody coming in a separate car from their parents, anybody that's going to be a helper that expects to want to help that student move into the dorm is going to have to be temperature checked at that time with the student. So somehow or other, if you're going to come in separate cars, I guess my inclination would be to suggest you meet up somewhere and get the student and their 2 helpers into the car that is going to enter the check-in process. And that way, then there's no question about having extra people in there just because they happen to be catching, the ride with you. You can maybe eliminate that. But if the person is going to be helping you check in, that's a maximum of 2 people. Those people must be temperature scanned at the same time with the student. So I hope that gives you some guidance. Please help me out if I didn't capture some of those things that are testing related or healthcare related, if I missed something.
Kathy definitely hit it there. And with those consent forms, so all of you have, I know a number of you have them printed because you've been communicating with me and emailing me. If you have them printed, please, please, please bring those forms with you. If you are a minor, if you are not 18, your parents also need to sign that form. If you are over 18, you're an adult, and you need to sign the form by yourself. You bring it to us. You'll drop that off before you get tested.
And just to clarify, John or Kathy, if a student comes after hours, what's the instruction for them? I know that they can't participate in any activities or go to class until their temperature has been taken and they have been tested. So what's the process for them?
Yep. So students who check in after hours have to check in at their front desk of their residence hall. Now, it's very important that until you go through the screening process and until you get tested, you are not allowed to participate in the activity. So I know there are a few of you who are moving in after hours on Friday and after hours on Saturday. We have your information, and we will then be sending you the link so you can live stream into some of the sessions with our online early start students. Students who arrive a little bit later on Thursday, we want you all to get here during your check-in times. It's very important because of the number of people that we're testing and how quickly we can test you. If you come during your time slots, I saw a number of, does the 2 hours count once you check in the testing? Yes, we will be able to get you through. We tested all 34 of our mentors in about 45 minutes yesterday. So as long as you are arriving on time when scheduled, we should be able to get you through this testing process very quickly. If you are dragging behind, though, it will cause issues with the testing. I know that we have to have it set up for the evening. So if you check in late Thursday, you can't participate in the events with your new friends until you get tested on Friday.
And just to clarify as well, earlier it was mentioned that a student needed to show the email that has their room assignment. Is it okay if they show their contract that has their room number or even take a screenshot of the housing portal?
Alex, can you answer that one?
I am unsure of that, but I would say do your best to have what you can to prove who you are and your room assignment. And I think that's like the biggest thing, just so that we can verify that we are getting you into the correct room.
Thanks, Alex. Seeing some questions about the address and the map. Again, after this, I'm going to send you another update tonight that includes the map for move-in, the address again, which was in the last couple weekly updates, to the Discovery lot. So if you're using Google Maps or something, you'll be able to utilize that address to find the location. Or once you get to Discovery lot and you check in, then university residents and staff are going to direct you on how to get to the McCutcheon Garage for testing and then over to your residence hall.
Another popular question was for students that would like to maybe go eat lunch with their family or leave campus after checking in. What's Purdue's stance on leaving campus and coming back?
So as little as possible, we'd like you to leave campus this year just to help prevent the spread of COVID. But if you're going to go eat lunch with your parents, that is acceptable. Your parents' time in the hall, though, will be up by the time they get back. So they would just need to drop you off outside and you would come into the hall alone when you return. Same thing if you go with parents, family members to Walmart, Target, something like that. Maybe you forgot something. When you return, only you will be able to go back into the residence hall.
Thank you for that, John. Just a couple more questions before we release the students to go to their breakout rooms. I'm assuming a passport is okay that can be used for an ID. Does the ID have to be anything specific for them to show when they get there?
No, a government issued ID will work to get students in.
Great.
We'll
And
be
then-
sharing schedules with you when you come. That you should also have schedules in your email, but there's a custom orientation schedule in each room. And then our commuter students and online students should have received the 3 links from me for the 3 main sessions. That would have been tonight's, the Friday welcome, and the tech session on Sunday.
And what do they do if they have the same move-in time as their roommate?
So if you have the same move-in time for the summer, you can still move in together. I know that a couple people who have the same time slots have coordinated with the other student in the family. So one of them's coming at the beginning of the slot, one's coming at the end of the slot. If you haven't talked with your roommate about that, it might be something to talk about tonight. I see the question about cars. Students can have their cars for the summer on campus. You have to park in university residences lots indicated by the white sign, but you will not be able to have your car for the fall. So you would have to take it home before the fall semester.
And someone had asked if the co-rec would be open and what are some of the regulations going on in the co-rec. If you don't have an update for that, John, I'm reading their website right now.
So I talked to Mike Warren. Mike Warren's the director of the co-rec today. At our preview, we had our summer start instructors, as Jenna mentioned, with us this morning, or early this afternoon, so they could see the rooms they're going to be teaching in and things. Mike was there, and tentatively, we plan to open the co-rec next week. It would be open in a limited fashion, but that determination is still being made. So nothing is 100% final on what's going to happen with the co-rec. When information is released, we will be the first ones to share it with you. It will come out, it'll go broadly, but no guarantees on the co-rec.
Back to the COVID testing, how long does it take for the test results to come back, and will they be notified whether it's positive or negative?
The COVID tests should be back. In this particular case, with the saliva-based test, we should be able to get those test results back in about 48 hours. Yes, the students will be notified of their test results.
Perfect. Thank you for that. And I think that's about it for the popular questions that were up. Looks like a lot of questions are about bed loft in the summer. John, it's my understanding that they won't be able to loft their beds this summer, right?
More information to come about bed loft. Early start students can loft their beds for the fall semester.
Mm-hmm. Some questions about our annual parent and family weekend. Jen Wetley, if parents are on the line, you probably know Jen's name from the parent and family Facebook page. No official word has been sent about the annual parent and family weekend, and information about that weekend will be coming in the upcoming weeks.
And I'll provide an update again tonight with some of this important information. So at this time, we can ship you over a little over again because of the issues we experienced earlier. But at this time, you all can head over to meet your peer mentor and watch for that update from me this evening. Thank you all for coming, and we look forward to seeing you, most of you on campus over the next couple days. Boiler up.